Proxima, starring Eva Green and Matt Dillon, the film that was marketed as the female First Man, and I think there is something to it. The story is centered around Sarah, played by Eva Green. She is a French astronaut working for the European Space Agency, and she's selected for a space mission to go to ISS. A mission that will take hard work, dedication, and quite a chunk of time spent largely in isolation, discounting the other team members. Which is a challenge because Sarah is raising a daughter. She's around 8 years old, and they're both pretty close together, especially as the father is separated from Sarah and lives alone. But due to the upcoming training, he'll be starting to take care of the child instead, while Sarah has to focus on work. And that work is a challenge in itself because right from the get-go, she is treated a bit condescendingly, in large part because she's a woman in a male-dominated environment, and being an astronaut is obviously a huge physical task, but also because it seems that the people around her don't necessarily believe she is capable of that mental, emotional disconnect with the daughter. And neither really is she. So, just like First Man, this is a quiet and slow film that uses space as its selling point, but in reality, that's just the background, just the setting. While the story itself remains extremely personal and self contained. The central conflict is between focusing on career and maintaining a healthy relationship with your family, specifically the child. The fight between work and personal life. And crucially, with a woman as a central character, which is a key element of the plot because of the expectations. The expectations that, on the one hand, Sarah should be focusing on family traditionally, on the other, that she won't necessarily do so well at the job. I will admit, for the first 20 minutes or so, I thought that the movie was approaching those themes in a kind of clunky, heavy-handed way, that it would just skirt the surface. But as it went on, I appreciated it more and more. I think that in the end, it manages to maintain a very delicate balance to avoid being preachy. For the most part, it presents us with a set of very real problems, but doesn't offer easy solutions. For example, Sarah is shown repeatedly to be dedicated and hardworking and focused on the training and very capable, as evidenced by the team slowly warming up to her. But still, there are moments when the physical toll gets to her, where she's in pain and in doubt whether she does have it in her to be there to do that thing. And then on the other hand, she is shown to be a caring mother at the beginning, but with less and less time with her daughter, we can see the relationship slowly and inevitably eroding. There's one great line in the film from a fellow astronaut where he says that the worst part is not going up into space and putting personal life on hold. It's coming back to see that people have learned to live without you. And I think that line hits pretty hard, especially as the line itself and the whole film really can be applied to a more general setting. I mean, sure, the space training is an extreme scenario of dedication to your career, but I do think that the points that the movie is trying to raise can be applied to any career, really. As a doctor, as a businessman, an actor, a policeman, there's always that question of where do you set boundaries? How far can you go with the dedication to your job if you have to sacrifice personal life in the process? And also, one very important thing, it's not obsession. It's not one of those movies about obsession. Sarah is not obsessed with her work. She is dedicated, yes, but it's not to the point of being unhealthy. There is that conflict in her, and she has to decide for herself which part of her life is more important. It's not set in stone yet. And I believe that a large part of why that internal conflict works is because of Eva Green. She's undoubtedly a great actress, and in Proxima, she has a difficult job of acting, not in a flashy way, but through subtle reactions and small facial expressions. It's a very subdued and nuanced performance, and I bought it completely. One other thing that I appreciated about the film is its use of language. Throughout the film, we see Sarah speak French, German, English, and even Russian, depending on the location and who she's talking to. And I thought that showing that aspect of working in a multinational agency was pretty amazing. But then the language thing also comes back as an important plot point within Sarah's relationship with her daughter. The one thing that I didn't like about the film was the very ending. I think there is a point where you could have ended the film and left it a bit more open story-wise in terms of interpretation, but also better purely visually speaking. It is one of the best shots of the entire film. I won't say which moment that is, but if you watch it, you'll know. But then the movie goes on for another 15 minutes or so, which I don't think add too much to the story and feel a bit tacked on. Although, to be fair, I will admit, they do change the final message of the film to something more concrete, something more close and definite. So I get why the filmmakers did it the way they did, because they needed those 15 minutes to finish the way they intended. But I still maintain that if you cut that last part out, you would end up with a more intelligent, more interesting picture. Having said that, I still think Proxima is a solid movie. It's slow and deliberate. It's quiet and introspective, and as a result, it's not for everyone certainly. But if you can appreciate thoughtful character studies, I think you'll like this one.